When Childe Wynd crossed the North Sea to face the Laidly Worm of Bamburgh, he brought no burning spear, no blessed sword, no warband thirsty for glory. He brought only the willingness to touch something terrible and call it sister. In this story, the monster isn't the worm. I'm James, this is Mythic Tides. On the Northumbrian coast, where the cliffs drop hard into the North Sea, there stands a castle that has watched the tides since before Britain had a name for itself. Bamburgh. Cold stone, salt wind, old silence. The King of Bamburgh had a daughter, Margaret. Tender, loyal, beloved by the people. When her father sailed away, as kings often seem to do, she kept his castle, held the keys, walked the halls, waited. Then he came home with a new queen. The queen looked at Margaret the way frost looks at the last green things of autumn. The girl was too bright, too beloved, too much of everything that the queen had decided that she alone should own. And so she spoke a curse. I will liken thee, she said, to a laidly worm, loathsome to all who should look upon thee, venomous to all who come near. Thou shalt coil upon the cold sand and drink from a stone trough until one comes to borrow thee. Margaret screamed, and the hall went dark. Where a princess had stood, a vast, venomous serpent lay coiled upon the stone floor. The laidly worm had come to Bamburgh. Borrow, a strange word for rescue. Not save, not slay, borrow. As though Margaret were merely mislaid, temporarily displaced from herself. A thing that could be reclaimed if someone loved her well enough to look past what she had become. She moved to the cliffs, to a cave in the rock face near Spindleston Heugh, a place you can find even now if you know what you're looking for. A stone trough worn smooth, the marks of something vast and old having rested there again and again in the dark. In every direction from the cave, the land died. No blade of grass, no wheat, no cattle left at the field's edge. The farms went silent. The shepherds pulled their flocks away. The fishermen beached their boats and did not return to the water. Bamburgh itself held its breath. And then someone found the answer the hard way, the way folklore always teaches its lessons. 7 cows. Every night at dusk, 7 cows were milked and the tribute carried to the stone trough. And the worm drank and held still, and the land did not die further. Word travels in legend the way grief travels across water faster than it should. Somewhere across the North Sea, Margaret's brother heard what had become of his sister. Childe Wynd. He gathered 33 men. He went to the shipwrights. He ordered a vessel built, but not from ordinary timber. The keel, the strakes, the mast, all of rowan wood. Because witches have no power where rowan grows, and he knew exactly what he was sailing towards. The witch queen felt him coming. She sent storms, confusion, contrary winds. The sea rose against the rowan-keeled ship and fell back, baffled. Her words slid off the hull like rain off rock. So she sent the worm. And here is the strangest beat in the whole story, stranger even than the transformation itself. The laidly worm, Margaret, her brother's sister, rose from the water and lashed his ship back from the shore, again and again, coiling from the waves, driving him away. She did not know him, or perhaps she knew him somewhere beneath the venom and the scale and simply could not stop herself. But Wynd landed anyway. He drove his ship onto the sand, leapt ashore and faced her. He did not raise his sword. He stepped forward. He kissed the worm once, twice, 3 times. 3 times, the number that unlocks every enchantment and every tradition from the borders to the Baltic. And where the laidly worm had been, a lady stepped out, pale, shaking, herself again. Childe Wynd turned to face the witch queen. He did not kill her. He spoke her own logic back at her, transformation for transformation. She became a toad, cold, low to the ground, hidden in the dark places beneath Bamburgh's walls. And the land, they say, breathes green again, almost at once. The Laidly Worm is a dragon story with no dragonslayer. That matters. Most of the great northern worm legends are slaying tales. The Lambton worm in Durham, the Sockburn worm, and perhaps closest to home, the Linton worm of Roxburghshire, where Sir William de Somerville rode out with a burning peat spear and ended the thing by force. Wynd's heroism is different, stranger, harder in its way, to face the monstrous and not flinch, to touch it, to trust that inside the terrible thing, something human still persists. There's something in the old border imagination that understood this. The land heals when the rightful thing is restored, not destroyed. The Witch Queen's reign was sterile, poisonous, still. The worm's breath killed the grass, but the moment Margaret stepped back into herself, the fields returned. Sovereignty in this story is not seized, it's recognised. On the Northumbrian coast, where the cliffs rise hard above the North Sea and Bamburgh watches everything, the old places remember. They always do. If you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe. If you've got something to say about the Laidly Worm, leave a comment. I'm James, this is Mythic Tides. I hope to see you again soon.